Family and fellow soldiers, I'm the Professor, and this is the Moment of Truth. Lately, the white media's been going in on Kanye West. Ye West. And they've been doing it as a group. Now, of course, as we all know, under white supremacy, there's almost never any coincidences, especially not with the white media. Nothing happens in a vacuum. So why is this going on? The pretense happens to be that apparently Kanye West called Trevor Noah a coon, which confirms that he is fully aware of the subculture of the new voices of black media. He certainly understands the lingo. That's being used, though, as a pretense to say, let's go ahead and ban him from the Grammys for a year. He's barred. He can't perform here. Now, keep in mind, this is the same white media that normally they love edgy, out there behavior. But apparently, from Kanye West, this is an issue all of a sudden. That combined with his spat with Kim Kardashian and her new boo is just phony outrage, but it's going to have real results. The white media is speaking with one united voice. He's been barred from the Grammys. Coachella's approaching, but his legacy hangs by a thread. Have you ever heard anyone mention the words Kanye West and legacy in the same sentence? But the Washington Post, the paper of record inside the Beltway, they just came straight up the middle. Kanye West's outburst is a painful lesson for Gap. The Washington Post didn't even pretend that this was anything other than a hit piece. The very first sentence, Gap Inc. has a Kanye West problem. The Washington Post doesn't even go in that hard on scandal-ridden politicians. Now, while the Washington Post never actually proves that Kanye West is hurting Gap's brand, what they are is very desirous to make people believe that he is. First, they talk about how after Kanye West signed a partnership with Gap, their stock hit its highest price ever a couple of years back. And now they're saying, well, the price has dipped. And that's probably because of Kanye West. In fact, it's surely because of him. He's taken the brand down. The white media is leading an across-the-board effort to attack him and the people who do business with him. Whatever venue he intends to go to, this is Kanye West here. You can't have him there. This is a cancellation in all but name. And you got some of the biggest outlets in the white media who are declaring that he's all but over at this point. And they're all acting together on this. The truth is that Kanye came to prominence as the result of his willingness to speak his mind. That's what largely put him on the map more than his music in the early aughts. But that only worked so long as he had the support of the grassroots. When he called out W during that Hurricane Katrina telethon, that was his high watermark as far as his credibility and relevance went. But ultimately, it would turn out to be a wasted opportunity. The controversy about him and Taylor Swift at the MTV Awards, or whatever awards it was, that soon overshadowed what he said. It was a tempest in a teapot, and I still insist that it was totally staged. But regardless, to have gone from making a serious statement about the government intentionally abandoning black citizens in the middle of a catastrophe to then deliberately causing a fiasco at a music awards show, that takes away from whatever value calling out W had. If you want to be taken seriously, you have to take yourself seriously, too. Now, the warning signs were all there, and I'm sure that the movers and shakers in the white media, who have had far more time around Ye than we ever will, figured this out a long time ago. The white media believes in measuring people up, evaluating them to see what kind of individual they're dealing with. That's why they know better than to come around us. They already see that we're the true believers over here. But I think they had Kanye's number a long time ago. Point being, the white media already knew that, like Tiger Woods, Ye was ripe for a fall. It was only a matter of time before he did himself in, or they decided to turn on him and take him down themselves. In the meanwhile, they would try to get every click, every viewer, and every reader that they could from his antics. But Kanye didn't do himself any favors by buying into his own hype. He thought being an icon and being the center of attention were the same thing. The white media and the paparazzi, they encourage the idea that celebrities ought to live wild lives. That's kind of a job requirement. If you're not in the middle of some sort of controversy, why, they're going to ignore you. If you want to be relevant, you got to get the white media to pay attention to you. And if you can't do something good, at least do something right, even if it's making a fool of yourself. And for a lot of these people in entertainment, they know the game and they try to play it to the hilt. We see Rose McGowan desperately trying to make herself relevant. And speaking of thoughts named Rose, Kanye's dalliance with Amber Rose was part of him playing the white media game, but he found out too late the game was playing him because they're the ones who decide who wins. Amber Rose is nothing more than a fling that went on a hell of a lot longer than it should. And again, for a man who's supposed to be about something, he's supposed to have better sense than to hang out with someone like her. It was because of his continued involvement with Amber Rose that people began to think that he was clearly enjoying playing the game of being a big-time celebrity more than anything else. But as ratchet and guttural as his affair with Amber Rose was, everyone knew the circus had come to town when he got with Kim Kardashian. This piece of garbage is famous for absolutely no reason at all. Now, is anyone dense enough to actually believe that the so-called sex tape about her leaked to the public? Get real. That tape didn't leak any more than Pamela Anderson's or Paris Hilton's or the half other washed up or low-grade actress wannabes who also had sex tapes floating around out there. It's a PR move, nothing more. At the turn of the 20th century, white women who wanted to break out from the crowd, they knew they had to do something noisy to monopolize media exposure. And how better than to claim that there's a forbidden sex video of you out there? You get to have all the notoriety and media focus of a scandal without having to bear the stigma of it. And Kardashian's claims that she didn't like that sex tape becoming public are proven to be false by the fact that she's willingly taking part in numerous magazine pictorials of herself completely nude. She's taken naked selfies right after she gave birth to show everybody how quickly she was able to get herself back into fighting trim. So let's stop pretending that the sex tape was anything other than a deliberate publicity stunt on her part, because for a woman who tried to act like she was so modest, she sure has been eager to take off her clothes at the drop of a hat. And let's also not pretend that Kanye didn't know this as well. Kim Kardashian can be accused of a lot of things, but one thing you gotta give the little heifer credit for, she and her scandalous mother are always playing an angle of some sort. She only has two real skills: persistent physical fitness, and a knack for identifying young, rich black male celebrities who are color-struck. Kardashian recognized white America's hyper-obsession with black male sexuality as being a good source of money if she could tap into that. There's a lot of white people in America who are fixated on what's going on in a black man's drawers and who he's doing it with. Kim Kardashian understood the necessity to focus on parlaying her moment of media attention into business opportunities. She monkey-branched from one high-profile black man to the next, one gullible fool to the next. Her entire shtick was a combination of flash and trash, and for a sizable segment of the society, that's an irresistible lure. They either love it, or at the very least, they love to hate it, but in either case, they can't take their eyes off of it, and some of those people watching are so eager, indeed desperate, to be part of the circus, even if only vicariously, they'll go ahead and buy products with her name on it, just so they can show their family and friends and see how they react, and then they get to act out their own aspiring, attention-whoring fantasies. They get to act like Kim Kardashian simply by associating themselves with her. I mean, this is the epitome of a self-licking ice cream cone. It's like how white teenagers, especially white girls, would hang pictures of black rappers on their walls just to antagonize their parents. That's the only reason why Kim Kardashian is a thing, even if it's a nothing. She uses the attention that she gets as a form of negotiable currency. Kim Kardashian has no substance. She's famous for nothing. Kanye, on the other hand, earned his fame, and he's done nothing of substance with it. So it only made sense that those two would become an item, and inevitably split. Kim wasn't through climbing the ladder, though. Her looks were still holding together, however raggedly. But more than that, the white media is still paying her attention. She understands her job is to hold that attention as long as she can. And it says a lot about Kanye West that he not only had a relationship with the single most disreputable female on the planet, but he also had children by her. Talk about planting your seed in garbage. He knew all about her slutty past, just like everyone else, that she was a free-range skank, and he still let her be the mother of his children. Kanye lost a lot of respect with his dalliance with Kim Kardashian. But as he began to fall headlong into his mad genius persona, he drifted further from the grassroots and further from reality. So long as the money doesn't run out, his mouth would keep running. He then began courting controversy for the sake of being controversial. Among his various pearls of wisdom, he said that our 400 years of slavery was a choice. Then he began hanging out with Donald Trump and the whole MAGA crowd. Now, of course, all Kanye West was really doing was more cult of celebrity, attention-whoring nonsense, because in the current media landscape, there really is no dividing line between famous and infamous. And Kanye's short-lived bromance with Trump wouldn't have been so obnoxious except for the fact that he did absolutely nothing to press the orange man on anything for black people. Far as I'm concerned, that's the sin. Hanging out with Donald Trump ain't the sin. That you didn't demand anything of him for black people is. The question remains, can Kanye, Ye, pull himself out of this nosedive? Hard to say. The white media is doing everything they can to make sure he doesn't. They can't clip his wings, but they can pluck his feathers. So they're piling on, keeping up a steady drumbeat of headlines saying Kanye's being dropped by sponsors. There are petitions against him. His friends are abandoning him, openly declaring that he's a problem for his sponsors. There was no reason whatsoever for the Washington Post of all papers to run a story on Kanye West, and no reason at all for them to be running a headline that's meant to make an issue out of Gap's association with Kanye. They're trying to scandalize Gap by proxy, but that's the point. The white media uses their monopoly to invent controversies where none exist. They're all ganging up on him, and that's how you know there's a program at work. I guess it makes sense. R. Kelly's in prison, Bill Cosby's free, and Chris Brown has yet again stopped the racist authorities' latest attempt to try to railroad him, so I guess the white media's wrecking Kanye West as their consolation prize. And what about Ye? Although the LA Times is certainly no friend of black people, and they really don't care anything about Kanye West, the question, though, of his legacy does bear inspection. What is his legacy going to be? His marriage to Kim Kardashian, his needlessly offensive hot takes, his photo ops with Trump, just an endless parade of attention-seeking stunts from a man whose career stopped being about his music long ago. Regardless of how Kanye comes out of this, the damage is largely done, most of it self-inflicted. And what does he have to show for all of it? Well, he does have his money and his fame, but as we see, the white media is trying to instigate a feeding frenzy to strip the money from him and to present the narrative that his old friends and associates are turning their backs on him. The inference being that everyone else ought to turn their backs on him too. They're trying to take his money and to defame him. The white media is attempting to write the end of Kanye's story. They may not be able to slam the door shut on his future, but they can diminish his prospects and ultimately the man himself. Kanye West, the musician, that guy was the creation of a talented young black artist. Ye, on the other hand, is an invention of the white media. It's pitifully ironic. A man who made a fortune getting people to buy his music, only to sell his soul for a song. Good day, and be one. I'd like to take a moment to mention some of our contributors. Loke Thies, Ronald Money, Gwendolyn Langston, Frederica Moore, and Malik Phillips. Salute to them, and thank you to everyone for listening, liking, and sharing this message. Black empowerment only exists because of you.